Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Greg Milner here in Perth, Western Australia. For thousands of years, people have been searching for the so-called fountain of youth, and for thousands of years, it's been regarded as nonsense, a myth, science fiction. People laughed, a bit like they did in 1945 when scientist Arthur C. Clarke said, "One day we'd all watch TV pictures beamed from satellites." Reversing the effects of aging is the Holy Grail. Finding that Holy Grail is the lifelong mission of the man joining us today from his office in Reno, Nevada, molecular biologist Dr. Bill Andrews. Good evening, Dr. Andrews.
Good evening. Glad to be here.
Also joining us from Sydney is the prominent businesswoman bringing Bill Andrews' work to the Australian skincare industry, Marie Anacocciolone, founder of InSkin Cosmetics. Hi, Marie.
Hey Greg, Dr. Andrews, and a warm welcome to all our partners locally and internationally too.
And from New Zealand, the co-creator of One Truth Serum, Rachel Degar. Good afternoon, Rachel.
Hi Greg, Bill, Maria, and everyone. How are you going?
Great. Now, before we go too much further, this is a live and interactive webinar. You should be able to see on your screen a chat window. So as we move along, do feel free to type any questions you may have, and I'll get our guest speakers to answer as many as we can. First, to you, Dr. Andrews, you're 62 and plan on living past 150. How's your wife going to handle you hanging around for that long?
Well, she's actually asked that question in the upcoming documentary called The Immortalist, which should air in a few months. And there she says that if I cure aging, marriage will last forever and ever and ever. And she says she's ready. So am I. I think it would be a great, and it's a lot longer than 150 years, I predict.
Fantastic. Jokes aside, though, this is a serious business. You and your team have spent more than 15 years and millions of dollars researching how and why we grow old. For people attending today, in simple terms, can you explain how that happens and why it happens?
Well, there's a lot of things that cause us to age, but we've discovered a remarkably simple mechanism that causes human aging and decline of health, and we're trying to get control of it. And this system is, now I like to think of different causes of aging as multiple sticks of dynamite that we have, but which one has the shortest fuse is really the most important. And this clock, the thing that I call a clock, or this mechanism, it appears to be the shortest fuse in humans. It's called telomeres. And telomeres are the very tips of our chromosomes. And we've been able to show over the last 20, 30 years that as humans get older, the tips of their chromosomes get shorter. Well, we discovered that this wasn't true in some cells, like our reproductive cells, and we discovered an enzyme in our reproductive cells that we call telomerase that actually keeps those telomeres from shortening. And to a lot of people's surprise, except me, when we use that enzyme on other cells of the body to keep the telomeres from shortening and actually lengthen them, we found that cells stopped aging and actually reversed aging by every mechanism of measurement you can imagine. We've done this with human skins grown in petri dishes, and we've also done this, or at least colleagues of ours at Harvard, using various gene therapy techniques, have been able to turn old mice into young mice by lengthening their telomeres. And so this is something that is really just earth-shattering right now. It has lots of proof of concepts, and I think that we're just a few years away from being able to provide humans with capabilities of reversing their aging, just maybe in 3 years from now. And in the meantime, we've now put together a product that we're discussing today where we can at least start doing this with skin. It's all about lengthening telomeres, and this has a remarkable effect on not just stopping aging, but on all overall health, and it slows down aging, stops it, or in the future even reverses it, and declining health too.
Reversing aging, it's kind of science fiction, isn't it?
Yes. Quacks and charlatans have discredited this field of anti-aging for thousands of years, and now there's real science. Nobel Prizes were awarded to my colleagues. I personally was awarded second place for United States Inventor of the Year for this award. Thousands and thousands of publications are showing up in peer-reviewed journals now supporting this whole phenomena. And so this is not science fiction anymore. This is science fact. And we're very close to a remarkable change in this planet.
Do you know any 80-year-old billionaires anywhere in the world who wouldn't give up all of that money for a chance of being young again?
I know a lot of them that would love to. It's a little hard to get hold of them at times, and some of them, in this day of economic crisis, they don't even have the money available. But yeah, the money's coming along to get this research done. It's just that I think some of the billionaires are going to be standing in line at the very beginning when we actually have it available. And they should be standing in line right away with this new skin cream that we're talking about today.
Well, let's get to that. Recently you made, well, in the last few years you made a remarkable, startling discovery. What is it?
But we discovered, let's start from the beginning. We've actually have a protocol that we use here at my company, Sierra Sciences, to test whether or not a chemical or natural product or whatever can actually get into cells and actually induce the production of telomerase. This is the enzyme that I mentioned before that lengthens telomeres. And we started screening different chemicals back in 2007, and now we've tested over 300, maybe close to 400,000 different chemicals and natural products, and we've found one that works amazingly well to produce enough telomerase to significantly slow down the aging process. And we call that molecule TAM818.
Okay, so Marie, let's briefly go to you for a moment. You've been in the skincare industry for 30 years. Men and mostly women around the world spend billions of dollars a year on skincare products. What are they searching for?
Well, it's fair to say, Greg, that in the 30 years nothing's changed. Everybody's looking and searching for the fountain of youth. At the end of the day, everyone wants to look young, they want to feel great and be held by both of those things. And I guess today we're blessed with the opportunity not only to be able to preserve our skin health, but actually be able to regain it. So it's very exciting times for the industry.
Thanks, Marie. Let's go to Rachel for a moment. Let's talk about this special TAM818 molecule. It's the essential ingredient in the new One Truth serum. You've been formulating that in New Zealand. You're a co-formulator of that serum. Rachel, can you tell us about it?
Yeah, correct. So I have partnered up with a cosmetic scientist whose real experience is in hard to deliver molecules that are really active to get them into the skin. So not that TAM818 was difficult to deliver, but we wanted to deliver it the best way that we possibly could to get active, to get the active right in there. So to begin with, what we first did is we created the base of the serum and we tested that as a placebo. So we knew that there would be skeptics out there saying, well, is it XYZ in the serum doing this? And we all know that there are lots of ingredients that we love because they can help you fake it. You put them on your face, they tighten everything up, or they make them plump out, and you look fantastic for a few hours. And hey, nothing wrong with that. But we didn't want anyone thinking that we had those in our serum because ours is all about the long-term age reversal and about TAM818. So without the TAM818, the serum can claim to help with transepidermal water loss, so hydration levels, and with a little bit of moisturization, but there's absolutely no claim to anti-wrinkle whatsoever. So for a couple of different reasons, it makes it suitable for any skin type, that we haven't put active ingredients leaning one way or another, to knock people off the list of who's able to use it. And the real active ingredient, the thing that works, is effective, and that has shown up in all of our testing, is the ingredient TAM818.
So tell us about this testing that you did both at Abbott Labs and in New Zealand. How did that go?
Sure. So we had it tested at Abbott Labs. They were the most reputable cosmetic labs that we could get hold of. So that's where we went. We had 100 volunteers there doing our test for us. Just to give you an idea, most of the big players in the cosmetic industry, if you read the fine print on their ad, it was tested on 17 women. You know, and I don't want to name names, but multi-billionaire cosmetic companies will test on anything less than 30 women, and they're allowed to make claims. So once again, we raised the bar there, and we had 100 volunteers in Italy. Within 2 weeks, 90% of them noticed an improvement in their wrinkles on their skin, and 92% of them noticed an improvement in the smoothness and the hydration levels of their skin. So TAM818 works really quickly in terms of having the appearance of age reversal on the skin. And like I said, there is only TAM818 in there that can be doing that. I've got my little figures here. Skin firmness improved by an average of 20.33% and elasticity 8.33%. And the before and after shots that we have got, the clinically measured scientific shots that we've got on the One Truth 818 serum, chins have lifted, eyelids have lifted, wrinkles completely vanished. The results are absolutely astounding. I've been in the skincare industry for quite some time, and they surprised me. I do know that they pleasantly surprised Bill and his team up at Sierra Sciences as well. The trials that we ran personally in New Zealand, we wanted some real faces to be able to talk to people and get some feedback from them as well. Every single participant had an improvement in pigmentation. And I'm talking even people that just had a few wrinkles, even they lightened because they were age-related. So One Truth Serum, with 818 in it, is reversing all of the signs of aging within the skin. And I think it's sort of, even at first, it was hard for me to get my head around it. I was like, well, what is it doing? Because we're often trained to think of one function that a skincare product is acting on. And when you get one that just says, I'm making you younger, you think, well, how do I understand that? But basically, if TAM818 is making your skin cells younger, then they behave like a younger skin. And younger skin synthesizes collagen and elastin. It has more hyaluronic acid. It doesn't get age spots and pigmentation like an older skin does. It doesn't crease and wrinkle or get crepey like an older skin does. And I think that's possibly the easiest way to understand the level that the serum is working on the skin.
And you tested the One Truth serum with TAM818 against a placebo, I understand, didn't you?
Yeah. And that's about, so as I was saying, the base, it helps with transepidermal water loss and hydration levels. Absolutely no claim to anti-aging or wrinkles whatsoever. It's not until we added the TAM818 that we got the results back. For example, the Abbott laboratory samples, the chemist I work with has worked for La Prairie, Snowberry, Shiseido. He said the results he saw from Abbott laboratories on One Truth 818 were the best he has ever seen of any product ever.
Now those the results of those clinical trials and the before and after pictures and the videos are on the onetruth.com.au website. Marie, how exciting is it to be the first and the only distributor of this technology in Australia for the beauty industry?
It's what InSkin Cosmetics has done. We're at the forefront, we're pioneers, and we're only interested in the stuff that nobody else has done before. And there's a lot of talk about telomeres and telomerase. There's a lot of marketing hype happening. There's even a couple of products that have come on the market claiming to be the first. And when you know what you're looking for, you can see that they've done the marketing stuff really, really, really well with no scientific backup. And so for InSkin to be launching One Truth in Australia exclusively in the beauty industry is incredibly exciting, and it's just the bang that we need to finish 2014.
So how do Australian salons become retailers of One Truth 818?
Very simply, they can contact InSkin Cosmetics by phone, 0297128188. They can send us an email to that team@inskincosmetics.com, and just a reminder that cosmetics is a D and not a T. It makes a big difference. Or they can get on the website inskincosmetics.com, and we'll obviously be able to send out a BDM or to be able to send a parcel opportunity that we'll discuss at the end of this webinar.
Thanks very much. Let's go back to you for a moment, Dr. Andrews. TAM818 seems to be a remarkable discovery. It surely won't be the end of discovery. Surely this has massive implications, not only for life expectancy, but also for disease.
Yes, and you're right. It's the first of many types of drugs or chemicals or natural products that we expect to find. And what's really exciting is that thousands of papers now have been published in scientifically peer-reviewed journals showing that the lengthier telomeres are connected to every disease you can imagine. I don't know of any that hasn't been published now to show a correlation with even cause and effect of cause by short telomeres. That includes like cancer, heart disease, Alzheimer's, osteoporosis, muscular dystrophy, macular degeneration. I can go on. I used to just list a few diseases, but now in other labs all through the world, people have been connecting lengthier telomeres to be a cause of every single disease you can imagine. So yeah, and we are continuing our screening efforts. We are moving at a very fast pace. TAM 818 isn't something that's going to turn old people into young people yet, but I think we're within about 3 years from being there. And believe me, that chemical or drug or natural product will be showing up in future generations of One Truth 818.
You've become famous as the man who would stop time. You run ultra marathons and beat men half your age. You're often quoted as telling people to prepare to be 24 again. And that's not going to happen just by merely using One Truth serum on your face every day. What's your ultimate goal?
Well, the ultimate goal is to have a pill that everybody takes that will get inside all their cells of their body, and the chemical will get inside all their cells of their body, and actually lengthen telomeres, induce the production of telomerase to such a high level that it will actually lengthen the telomeres, turn them from short into long ones. And when that happens, we expect to actually start seeing 80-year-old people looking 24 again and behaving 24 and having risk of diseases equivalent to a 24-year-old. I think that's going to be a very exciting day, and it's not that far away. And believe me, we're working around the clock trying to get that as fast as possible.
Are you serious? 80-year-old people becoming 24 again? It sounds like a real-life version of Benjamin Button.
Yeah. Well, the difference between Benjamin Button is that we're only reversing aging. We're not reversing development. And so a person, when they're first born, they go through many years of development, and they quit. I'd say most developmental scientists conclude that we stop developing at about age 24. After that, all we do is age. At 24, our bones are solid. We've reached our maximum height. Everything else is pretty standard. Our appearances change very little after that, except for aging-related things. And so I think we're going to reverse our aging to being about 24 again. Let's say I'm very optimistic, but we won't know for certain until we actually have something available. But the mouse studies that I mentioned before are very, very promising. Right? It's the best proof of concept I can imagine having at this moment, that we can actually succeed at doing this.
One Truth 818 is the first and only product in the world to contain the 818 molecule. How else do you plan to use it?
Well, we plan on eventually having it for pets, putting it in pet foods, either 818 or better versions of it that get discovered in the future. We plan on providing it to healthcare, say hospitals to treat with things like bed sores. In fact, skin creams could probably be beneficial there. Bed sores are a big problem with older people when they've been in bed for long periods of time. That's actually now known to be caused by short telomeres. But the ultimate goal is to have it as a pill that people can take and benefit everything. But we think it's going to reverse a lot of diseases when we get it, and that's one of the big goals. I think that the risk of heart disease is going to decrease. Risk of cancer is going to decrease. I know that there's been a lot of speculation in the past that this would actually cause cancer, but that's, the rumors all dispelled about 2005, and since then there's been hundreds and hundreds, not thousands, of papers now showing that telomerase doesn't cause cancer. Actually, the lack of telomerase causes cancer. And so I expect to see a decrease in incidence of cancer. Plus, cancer cells are already immortal. And so doing something like TAM818 or something else that's going to be stronger to induce the production of telomerase is not going to benefit cancers at all. But it will benefit our body's ability to fight cancer. I think it's going to decrease our risk of getting cancer, and it's also going to increase our body's ability to fight cancer. And I think that's pretty well documented now. We just have to wait till we have the actual pill that people can start taking and actually see it for itself.
Just a little aside on the science behind the molecule itself. Obviously, it's patented to within an inch of its life. The atomic composition of it is completely secret, presumably.
You cut out there. Again?
The secrecy behind the composition of the molecule itself.
Yes.
Obviously, that's well protected.
Yes, we have filed a patent on it. We've gone to measures to keep the patent from being published. It has been allowed, but we are keeping it because we're keeping it as a trade secret.
Okay. Just over to Rachel for a moment. Rachel, you have the license to use the TAM818 molecule in the One Truth serum. It'll be available for sale in Australia and New Zealand in the next couple of weeks. Asia looks like being a massive market for it.
Yeah. So Asia were actually the first people to jump on board. We have Korean distributors over there, and he's covered all of East Asia for us. And they have a massive beauty market. So we have just last week manufactured the serum for Australia, New Zealand, and Korea, the very first run of serum ever to be made. So that's really very exciting. But yeah, we will be the first 3 countries in the world to have TAM818 on our shelves.
Fantastic. For those attending and wish to ask Marie or Dr. Andrews or Rachel a question, just type the question into the right-hand side of your screen. There's a little field down the bottom there. If you're not in Australia, New Zealand, or Korea, and you wish to get hold of One Truth 818, either for yourselves or for your clients, you can contact us via the onetruth.com.au website, and we'll advise you on wholesale and retail prices. In Australia, Marie, the product will be a very, very exclusive product. I believe your retailing will be retailed at $299. Is that right?
That's correct. It's $299 retail, $155 wholesale.
Okay. Now, on behalf of the skin professionals watching and listening, Marie, do you have any questions that would typically be raised by them that you'd like to raise with Dr. Andrews, perhaps, or Rachel?
I think that there's a couple of things that the industry is very concerned with at the moment. One of those would be the naturalness of the purity of the product. So maybe this question for you, Rachel, just to confirm that the product is as clean as it can be, and that it's not tested on animals is another big one for the industry.
Yeah, no, we know with an absolute certainty, obviously Bill created TAM818 and there was absolutely no animal testing at Therosciences on the actual molecule, and I personally have co-created the serum. There was absolutely no testing there. We did tease you a few weeks back, Maria, and we said we tested on Italians, not animals, but I can take the heat too. We tested on Kiwis, not animals as well. So no, absolutely no animals along the process. We've chosen to test it on humans who will put their hands up very quickly, and we're very, very happy to do that for us. It's made in a GMP facility, so right here in Auckland, so it's New Zealand made, so clean and green, just like the rest of us. And most of the other ingredients are sourced from France and Germany and America, so they're from very big suppliers. There's nothing to be worried about there, and a lot of botanically based phospholipids to help with the hydration and things like that. So although I said that the serum without the 818 is a fairly basic formula, it's velvety, it's smooth, it's light, it's slightly hydrating. It's a beautiful formulation with that 818 technology in there.
Okay, thanks, Rachel. A couple of questions from viewers. From Lee, are there any concerns with this serum being used in conjunction with other skincare brands? What about compatibility? Perhaps you might want to answer that, Rachel.
Yeah, there's absolutely no problem whatsoever. Like I said, it's not, you haven't got like a retinol in there which is going to double up on other retinol-based products, for example, or there's no brightening ingredients in there that are going to counteract with some other ingredients in there. It's something that every therapist could be recommending and prescribing along with their regular routines for their clients. It's not going to interact with anything. And there's no contraindications for a particular client either.
Okay, thank you. A similar question from Maria. How would you incorporate the serum with existing O Cosmetics skincare? Marie?
Maria, it's a very specific serum. So you continue doing exactly what you're doing with your O Cosmetics products, and you incorporate the One Truth into your existing regime, knowing that the function, the benefit of One Truth is totally different to what we're already treating with the O Cosmetics. The consistency of One Truth is a light lotion type cream, so it would be the product that you apply after your existing serums and before your treatment hydrator. Very simple.
Okay. Getting a lot of questions here. Can you guys see these questions coming up on the right-hand side there?
Yeah.
There was a question here that I thought Bill would be best to answer. From George, I think. Bill, telomerase is already in the body. Why do you need to create more of it?
Well, it's not already in the body. The gene exists in all of our cells. Let's say telomere, maybe the person meant telomeres. Telomeres are in every cell of our body, but they get shorter, and we want to make them longer. The enzyme that makes them longer is, as I said before, called telomerase, but that's not found in any cell of our body except our reproductive cells. And remarkably, that's why our children are born younger than we are when they come from our old cells. It's because the enzyme telomerase keeps the telomeres long. But that enzyme is only found in our reproductive cells, no other cell in our body. The gene is present in every other cell of our body, but the gene is actually shut off. Just like a light switch, you can turn genes on and off. The gene is shut off in every cell of our body. And all we're doing is we're looking for chemicals that turn that gene back on again.
Okay, thank you. Christina says there are supplements currently on the market that say they lengthen telomeres. What makes your product stand out compared with the current ones? Rachel, perhaps.
Yeah, well, firstly, she has said there are supplements. We're talking about One Truth 818 serum, so it's a topically applied serum. Secondly, we can prove it, which is a very big difference. We don't just say it. We can show you the evidence. There've been a couple other questions saying, will the pictures be available? Will the tests be available? Yes, they will. We're very proud of them, and we're not going to keep them a secret. They will be available for you all to be able to have confidence in selling their product, and of course, by all means, show them to your clients as well.
And let me add, there isn't anything else, skin cream or anything else that actually induces the production of telomerase.
Okay, thank you, Bill. And you can actually get the ingredients list is on the onetruth.com.au website, along with the clinical trials and the videos and the before and after high-resolution photos, which you can all, anyone's free to look at any time. Question from Melanie: once results have been achieved, does the serum need to be continually used to maintain results? Who would like to answer that?
May I? No.
Rachel.
We're all going to say the same thing.
I was going to say Bill could give the technical.
Let me start with that, because there was a question I saw go by. where somebody was asking about the mice at Harvard. They asked what happened when the mice were taken off of the drug that they were being given. And let me first caution that this is a study done totally independent of neuroscience. We're even on the opposite coast of the United States. This was done at Harvard by a group that was studying telomerase in mice. And what they were able to do is they were able to show that when they lengthened telomeres, old mice became young again. But when they stopped giving the mouse the drug, they just aged at the normal rate. Nothing happened. So it wasn't like accelerated aging like we see in a lot of TV shows and things. It's just or movies. They just go back to aging at the normal rate. So I predict that when we have something that really works well to reverse aging in humans, when we take an 80-year-old and turn them into a 30-year-old, and if that person stops taking the drug, 10 years later they'll be 40 years old, just like normal. So I don't think. So I think with the 818 at the moment, since it's weaker than the stuff that was used on the mice, it would probably be pretty good to be taken in on a regular basis.
Okay, thank you. A couple other questions by several people about where the product will be available. In the beauty industry in Australia, it will only be available via in-skin skin clinics. It will not be available in Australia or New Zealand on the internet. It will be sold probably in certain pharmacies, but it will not be undercut by anybody. The price will be $299 wherever it's sold. So I hope that answers that. Question about TGA approval. No, it is not currently a TGA listed product. And the claims of telomere reduction or lengthening certainly will not be made in any public forum, advertising, etc. The question from Lee again: would the serum be produced in a larger quantity for practitioners to use in salon? At this stage, Rachel, I would expect no. Is that right?
It's actually something that we're looking into, Greg, because I've been asked by several salon owners already, even prior to launch, that have got wind of it and asked the exact same question as you, Lee. So what I need to do is work out the polarity of it and how it's going to be worked best so that people can use it as a salon treatment with their galvanic machineries, because it'll be amazingly effective to be able to do that.
Okay, and over to you for a moment, Marie. You have an offer for O-Cosmetics accounts at the moment. What's your offer going to be for salons and skin clinics?
Can I just say, Greg, just before I go on to that, just to reassure the beauty industry that they have got exclusivity. It's not going into pharmacies on this side of Christmas. It's only going into the clinics and the partners that come through in skin cosmetics. So we're not competing with anybody at the moment, but we'd be stupid to think that a product like this could just stay in the hands of the clinics, unless the clinics do an exceptional job with this product and we don't need to take it to pharmacy. So it's important that the industry, I know they get very protective about competing with pharmacies or competing with department stores, but this is a breakthrough, second to none. We haven't seen something like this in the beauty industry for a long, long time. It's here, it's now, and it's only to beauty salons and to serious skin partners. I shouldn't have said beauty salons and clinics. So be assured that we have stocks arriving next week. We don't have a lot of stocks. It was only a first run, and as Rachel said, it's going into a number of different countries. We've got our allocation, and we're going to have to wait for the next one before we're able to go the next level of distribution. And so for every 6 One Truth serums sold, you will receive free of charge one free of charge with an A4 counter card and consumer brochures. So the supporting point of sale material will go with every 6 products purchase, one free One Truth serum valued at $299.
Okay, thanks, Marie. A couple of questions on why pharmacies. Well, simply because the distribution network of salons around Australia is just not, at this stage, big enough to handle the expected demand. However, we do not yet have supplies for any pharmacies. Initial supplies, limited as they are, will be purely for O Cosmetics in-skin partners. If in-skin partners soak up all of the expected product over the next few months, then that's the way it will remain. And we're more than happy to do that. Peter comments, by the way, biggest fan of Bill here. Yo, Bill, make us young again.
Thanks, Peter.
What else? Any other questions there that you think need answering right away, Dr. Andrews or Rachel or
scrolling by so fast, it's hard to keep track of all of them.
They are going fast, yeah. Let's have a look here. Would it be all right to use on oncology clients going through treatment?
On which clients?
Oncology clients. Cancer patients.
Oncology patients. Rachel, that'd be one thing I couldn't imagine. Why not?
No, not at all. And as Bill said, you know, there's all the evidence in the world now to provide that to prove that inducing telomerase can strengthen skin cells against cancer. Correct, Bill?
Yes. And we can't answer that question conclusively until we actually do the clinical studies, but a tremendous number of studies in scientifically peer-reviewed journal articles suggest that there shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. Another question from Adele in New Zealand. So for people in New Zealand, we can only get it from the onetruth.com.au website. No, that's not the case. New Zealand salons can get it directly from Rachel at Chase Life Extension Foundation. Rachel, would you like to give us a phone number for that?
Yeah, sure. So for the Kiwis listening, you can call us on 0508 739 463, which is actually 0508 Rewind, or email us at orders@rewindyouth.com. We also have a website. It doesn't display the One Truth 818 information yet. It's going live in a couple of days, but it's rewindyouth.com. So there's a few ways that you can get hold of us.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
I've got my first order there.
Oh, there we go.
always one of the first. This is the good thing about these in-skin accounts. They're visionaries. Good on you, Benita.
Question for Dr. Andrews. The molecule you've created, you've found induces a silent gene. What about other genes? Is this molecule inducing? Do you know?
It's possible. We have done DNA array analysis. It does induce other genes, but there isn't a drug or chemical on the planet that works specifically on just one gene. Every time we test anything in what's called DNA array analysis, which allows us to look at other genes being affected, there's always other genes being affected. The goal is to make it so that nothing's affected more than a twofold level, and everything affects some genes at even higher levels. But when we did this with the family of molecules that TAM818 is involved in, we found nothing to be concerned about, and pretty much that's true for any drug, and that's one of the reasons clinical studies are done, is to actually see if there's any safety issues. And I think Rachel can comment about the clinicals in Abbott, because they did look at safety issues too.
Yeah, and particularly because it's new technology, so it's a little bit unknown for people. So we have gone out of our way to do an AIMS or a mutagenicity test, just to once again give people absolute confidence that there is no cell mutation going on. And an AIMS test that's been proved to be non-cancerous, non-toxic, non-sensitizing, dermatologically tested. It's all been done.
And a question from Sarong, can it be used on pregnant and lactating women?
Yep, absolutely. Using it myself too, and I have an 8-month-old. I've been using it. Well, I've been using TM8 on my skin for almost 2 years now, while we've been formulating the serums, and there's absolutely no problem whatsoever.
And quite a remarkable result for you, Rachel, since you are 62.
I know.
Remarkable. Couple of questions, several questions actually. Do you have to keep? Bill answered this a little bit, but do you have to keep using the serum? Is it a once-off? Marie, I would think from your point of view, and for retailers' point of view, yes, you do keep using it. True.
I like to compare it to your car. Do you need to keep putting petrol or diesel in your car? As long as you want the car to go, you'll need to keep filling it up. And the skin is exactly the same. While you continue to nourish it and feed it, it's going to work for you. And the day that you stop doing that, then it will start to age. It's a natural process. So yes, you do need to keep using it. Absolutely. And it's good for sales too. Good for profit. Good for business.
Absolutely. Continued use is what we all look for. Just a follow-up question from Adele in New Zealand. People going through oncology treatments like radiation and chemo, would this help with what changes happen in the skin when going through such treatments? Perhaps Rachel?
Well, what it's going to be doing, if you think, what does the cell benefit from, I should say, from having telomerase induced, and it makes that cell stronger and it gives it an ability to fight against treatments like that. So I guess I just bring it back to the simple way of thinking the answer through for yourself, which is generally children or younger people respond at a better level to cancer treatments or any type of medical treatment like that than older people do. So if your skin is behaving like a younger skin, it's also going to respond better to anything thrown at it. Does that make sense to sort of answer any more of those questions that might pop up as well?
I hope so. Marie, do you have any comment on that?
No, I'm sorry. I got caught up reading. I got caught on people believing that Rachel's 62.
I'm 62, but I don't think Rachel's really 62. But let me address that question too, because the bottom line is it's always good to lengthen your telomeres. Something that I always say when I speak and show slides of is I say bad things happen when telomeres get short. And there's nothing wrong with long telomeres. In every possible way you can imagine, your body's healthier when the telomeres are longer. So when you're going through chemo and radiation, that's pretty harsh treatment on your body. The chemo and radiation is still going to work as effectively, but the rest of your body is going to probably survive a lot better by keeping your telomeres long.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Andrews. Question from Kylie-Ann Cobelt. Curious, why not distribute to medical spas, dermatologists, or plastic surgeons if this is a medical breakthrough? How come you're using the beauty platform to launch? Well, I think the simple answer to that is Marie recognised the significance of this this breakthrough and jumped on it and acquired exclusive rights for the beauty industry. That would be fair, wouldn't it, Marie?
Absolutely. I wouldn't imagine that going into the hands of the doctors and the dermos and alongside the Cetaphils of the world. I think that the beauty industry does anti-aging incredibly well. I think that Instant Cosmetics has been instrumental in pioneering anti-aging and reversal of aging, and this is just perfect for our portfolio. And I don't believe that anyone does it as well as estheticians, and the level of expertise that we offer here, certainly in Australia, and I know that my experiences around the world, much better off in the beauty industry than the medical hands. And if it goes there, Kylie-Ann, we wouldn't have our hands on it. We wouldn't get the opportunity. And once again, we'd be competing with the medical field. We're much better than that.
And let me add, our goal is to get this or something stronger into medical clinics as fast as possible.
Thank you, Dr. Andrews. One question that a lot of people are wondering, what size does it come in, how often do you apply it, and how long does it on average last? Perhaps you're the best to answer that, Rachel.
Yep, absolutely. So it's a 50 ml container. It's an air pump container. And on average it lasts about 2.5 months, and that's if you apply it morning and evening. So all the before and after shots and the testimony videos and things that you'll see on the onetruth.com.au website, they are all from twice daily application.
And Jenny is asking, I'm thinking, how can I afford this for my whole body? I don't just want a young face. Well, it's a fair question, I think, Marie.
Well, we'll just have to hang around for that one and see if the guys there in New Zealand are able to give us something for body as well. I'm sure this is just the beginning, right, Rachel?
Absolutely, yeah. Look, we needed to start with a hero product. So obviously, it's an anti-aging serum suitable for anybody who wants to do anti-aging. But already for 2015, we've got 3 products lined up for launch on our schedule for 2015. So so stay posted. You don't have to go and buy a granny suit with tight arms and sucking everything in and just keep rubbing it on your face. So we will get there.
Okay. Question from Jackie.
Greg, yeah, I was just going to say with Jackie, with the question about why isn't it classified a drug, and there's a number of questions inquiring about the TGA. For those of you that are from overseas, it's the equivalent to your FDA or the CE. At the end of the day, Jackie, if we were to write on the packaging, on the consumer brochure, and on the websites exactly what we've been talking about today, it would need to be a drug and it would have to be TGA approved. So I guess this webinar is really what TGA doesn't want you to know. And so you've been privy to understanding the, the in-depth scientific information behind One Truth and the TAM 818. And after this webinar is over, this information will explode and you'll never have access to it again, because it certainly won't be on the box and it won't be on the consumer brochure. It's the same answer as the previous one about the dermatologists and putting it in the hands of the medical arena. If we were to make the claims, we wouldn't be able to sell it in the beauty industry. And so this is about keeping it accessible, so that consumers and therapists all over the world are able to use the TAM 818. I think that is the main reason why it's not going to be classified a drug.
Okay, thanks. Anything you want to add to that, Dr. Andrews?
No, I think that covered it completely.
Okay, terrific. Sarong is asking, sorry, did I miss anything? Is Rachel really 62 years old?
No, Sarong. I just turned 39, but I'm not looking my best because I'm up 2 or 3 times a night at the moment with a baby, so I do feel like I should be looking slightly younger, but 39, I can't claim to be 62.
Okay. Rebecca's saying, sorry, how many months when used twice daily? I think we've answered that in that just like putting fuel in your car, it's something that you use on a frequent and regular basis. Is that right, Rachel?
Yeah, and just from our personal experience, like I said, we've had our little hands on TAM 818 for a couple of years now, and so to begin with, we didn't have a serum, we had nothing, so we just put TAM 818 in water and shook it up and started spraying it all over ourselves, because why wouldn't you? So so my mum was using it on her hands, and she stopped using it on her hands a few months ago, and she just said to me the other day, she said, oh look Rachel, she said, actually I can tell it started aging slightly again because I haven't used it for a couple of months, but it is still by no means anywhere as older looking as her other hand. There's still such a marked difference. So as Marie said, you've got to keep the fuel in the car, and as Bill said with the mice, they just stopped. It doesn't. There is no sort of rebound effect that you suddenly all the aging catches up with you or anything. You literally are just stopping, halting it, and doing a bit of reversing to it for the time you're using it, and when you stop, it just starts to age a little bit again.
Okay, one question that I missed earlier from Leslie Morgan Weston in Sydney. Can One Truth be used with laser and micro needling, Rachel?
Laser, I am not sure on. I'll have to get back to you on that one, and that's simply just because I'm not a laser expert myself. Microneedling, absolutely.
Okay. Any other questions you can see there, folks, that we've missed? They've been rolling up so quickly.
There's a question asked, can it be used alongside Botox and fillers? Rachel, I would imagine it would just be an absolute bonus to do that.
Yep, absolutely correct.
Just
I don't know
repeat
if you've done any. So the question's asked if One Truth can be used alongside Botox and injectables, fillers, etc. I would imagine that they probably have a longer lifespan using it with the One Truth.
Yeah. So once again, it really would be as if you were just using your Botox and fillers within a younger skin, because the TAM818 is going to make the skin a younger skin. And so that, once again, is the best way to think of it. And those are absolutely your perfect clients, because they're obviously very concerned about how they look in terms of aging.
And there's another one. Sorry, Greg, just another one for Rachel, which I've seen appear a number of times. Has there been anyone that's had a reaction or adverse effects to the One Truth serum?
No, we had, so there was 139 people all up, Italian and New Zealanders, and not one adverse side effect whatsoever in any of our trials.
How long did they use it for? Was it over a couple of months, Rachel?
So the Abbott results that you can find on the website, they were a 30-day trial. In New Zealand, we did a 2-month trial.
And no adverse effects in either case?
No, and you know, that's remarkable, because to be honest, we were expecting just a couple, and we wanted to know what they would be, just out of curiosity. So to have absolutely nobody have any reactions whatsoever out of that amount of people, you know, was pleasantly surprising, to say the least.
Okay, one question that's just popped up, and this is one for Dr. Andrews. At what rate and what percentage is the telomere extended? Pretty specific, Dr. Andrews?
Well, all we know at this moment is that the more telomerase is produced in a cell, the longer the telomeres will be. But what we're looking at right now is not a lengthening of telomeres, a net lengthening. We're looking at a decrease in the rate of shortening. And that's just impossible to measure. All we can say is that whenever you do have telomerase in a cell, telomeres get lengthened. But it's like a tug-of-war. You've got the shorteners and you've got the lengtheners going on at the same time, pulling back and forth. And so something like TAM818 isn't going to get rid of the people causing the shortening, but let's say in a tug-of-war, but they will add strength to the other side to cause the lengtheners to get a little bit stronger, but it's still just going to be decreasing the rate of telomere shortening. So we're not actually seeing telomeres get longer. When that happens, that's when we're going to start seeing people, 80-year-olds, become 24 again. But right now, we're not there yet.
Okay.
There's been some questions there about hair loss. And if I could,
just
we strongly believe studies haven't been done yet, except in more of a gene therapy approach. There's been some scientific publications suggesting that lengthening telomeres could bring hair back, but it pretty much depends on why a person has lost their hair to begin with. If they've lost their hair because their mother's father was bald and they inherited that same gene, then it probably won't bring their hair back. But if they lost their hair because of telomere shortening, and it's an amazing number of men probably do lose their hair because of telomere shortening, and women, this should have a pretty good effect on bringing hair back. I don't think One Truth 818 has actually been designed to actually be put in hair, but I guess Rachel and Marie can answer that one.
Well, unfortunately, I wouldn't be rubbing a gel cream in my in my hair, but it is a question that we've been asked before, and certainly it's not one of the next 3 products that we will be formulating. But there's such a keen interest in hair loss that we will start formulating that and then run the clinical trials on it. If it's not going to be effective on the majority of people who use it, then we won't bring it out. We only want to be selling products which are effective for people.
Okay,
so Rachel could just go back to the TAM818 in the water, and you could spray it on the scalp.
Well, you could. Yes, you could.
Could be something.
Because we were thinking,
Rachel. Just on that, one of the questions that I had for you when I first saw the ingredient list, which I think would be really beneficial for the skin experts on this webinar to hear, The molecule itself, the TAM818, where it sits in the ingredient listing, you would assume for the power and the benefit of this product that it would be the #1 ingredient, but it's not. And it was very beneficial for me to understand why it sits where it does and how potent the ingredient is, that it doesn't need to be #1 to get the results. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So it's and I do the same as you, Marie. Just you look at the back of something and you think, oh, there's not much of that in there. There's nothing else like this molecule on this earth that's been created. It is ridiculously potent. For anyone who knows how to measure things, all of the scientific testing done at Sierra Sciences by Bill and his team, the TAM818 was tested at 33 micromolar. Now, when I first started, working at this, I'd never even heard that term before. It's so tiny, and the results that they were getting were astronomical. So for good measure, we have used more than that in our serum, just in case. But there is the dose response curve. So what the scientists were finding was that they were getting this effect, and then when they added more and added more, they weren't actually getting a bigger effect. There was no need to be putting more of the TAM818 onto the skin or into the experiment in order to get to get that bigger result. The only reason that we doubled it for good measure was because we thought we're adding all these other ingredients in there, so we'll double it for good measure, just in case, really, at the end of the day. But all of the results and everything that you see from Bill and his team were done at half the strength of what we have in the TAM818 and in the One Truth serum, beg your pardon. And originally, to begin with, the very first kilogram of the TAM818 that was made was in excess of $100,000 US. So just to show you the potency of this, the price tag comes with the potency as well. That doesn't reflect why we've used what we use, but rest assured, even though when you glance at the ingredients listing you might feel like it's not a very strong product, it's a very, very potent product.
Okay, question from Jenny. How are we going to sell the product? What will we be allowed to tell the client? Marie.
I think that might be a better one for Rachel to answer. I know from my perspective, I'm going to tell them what it does. I'm not going to hesitate holding back on my words. It's a different thing to put it in writing. So I guess it's exactly what we do with the current brands and the ingredients that we stock. We don't hold back on when we're verbally giving the information. We just put it in writing. Would that be right, Rachel?
Yeah, I absolutely agree, and that's why it's so important for us to really educate and train our therapists and our stockists and our retailers, because you're allowed to say the things that we're not allowed to say. So when we're sitting in our office writing the marketing material, we're banging our heads against a brick wall. It's infuriating, honestly, and we just want to say, this is what it does, and this is how it does it, but we're not allowed. And it's simply because of commercial restrictions and advertising standards, etc., red tape, really. So if we can actually educate you guys like we are now on the induction of telomerase, the effect that telomerase has in the cells, how that reverses and halts aging in the skin cells, it's up to you then to be able to tell your clients that. So you sing it loudly and proudly to your clients, and you tell them the true story that we wish we could tell through the magazines and through the media. Please.
Okay. Is that happy with that, Marie?
Dr. Bill, Dr. Andrews is going to get that opportunity to tell the story to the media when he comes out in February. So there's going to be quite a lot of talk about the 818 and the One Truth on television and through the publication launches that we'll be doing.
Yeah, and obviously for private consultations, much more relaxed about what you can and can't say. For public consumption, it has to be fairly bland in terms of the claims.
But the connection will be made.
Yeah. A couple of quick questions. We're running out of time. They're hammering, questions are hammering through. Where does this penetrate within the skin? Can it be infused with sono, meso, or galvanic? That's beyond my knowledge. Is that one for you, Rachel?
Yep, and it's absolutely fine with galvanic. Sono and miso, I would have to look into. I know that it's absolutely fine with galvanic. And the TAM 818 itself is a small molecule. It's perfect for use in a cosmetic because of that, because it does penetrate deeply. What we have also done is we have put it in a liposome of some, like a combination of phospholipids, which help deliver it even deeper into the skin. So you're going to get a deeper action through that, which is why I say with the galvanic, it's going to be an amping treatment by the time you add that in there, and the needling as well.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. Mary, there are clients who complain about the price tag. What do you say to them about the price tag? Well, that's a marketing issue, in my view. I mean, there are people who complain about the price of a Porsche. What do you say to them? Well, buy a cheaper car, I guess. Is that fair enough, Marie?
Oh, look, I think it's you pay for innovation. It's as simple as that. You know, you can buy your department store or your pharmacy brands, and they're not going to give you what this product does. So everybody's got the money for looking good, and it's about, you know, how serious you are about it, basically.
Okay.
It's a 50 ml bottle, which is very large for a serum. I think it's actually very reasonably priced.
Well, if you look at it in comparison to
similarly priced with smaller amounts of serum, aren't there? From Julia, how long until you see a result, Rachel?
So, like I said, we had 92% of our volunteers in Italy marked that they noticed a result within 2 weeks. And it was very similar with our Kiwi clinical trials. We had, say, about 40% noticed a difference from the first application to 1 week, and then another 70% noticed it, you know, within 10 days, and then the same thing within 2 weeks. We had 97% of our Kiwis noticed a difference within 2 weeks.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I think that's answered Carmen's question.
I saw a question that passed by a long time ago. Somebody asked, how old do you have to be taking this? And I can answer that simply by saying our telomeres start shortening from the day we're conceived. So I believe that doing whatever we can to lengthen our telomeres should be done at least from the day we're born and longer. There's other issues to be concerned with putting on a skin cream, but in terms of lengthening telomeres, that's something we want to do from the day we're conceived.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Andrews. One for Rachel. Can you please state whether this product is too much for a sensitive or rosacea skin?
Yes, sorry, Helen, I just saw that come up again. The actual gel that it's in is, it's a very cooling gel. It has a property in there which actually has a nice cool feel to it. So that would help with the rosacea. And there's another ingredient in there which has some slight microbial effects. So it would help with any bacteria that may be, you know, helping create the rosacea. But to be honest, I would put it as part of the regime. It's not going to exacerbate the rosacea. It will be fine for them, but I would still keep them on all of their anti-rosacea products as well. It won't replace them, but it's not going to exacerbate the problem at all. In fact, it'll have a nice cooling effect.
What's the shelf life, Rachel?
12 months from point of opening.
Okay, hope that answers that question. Do you use it on the eye area?
Absolutely. It's better than any eye cream I've ever met in my entire life, and it's 100% safe around the eye area as well.
Will there be any marketing to help sales? Well, I think you can answer that one, Marie. A heap.
Well, I think that's the fact that you're hosting this webinar, Greg, is the answer to that one, knowing your company's called Worldwide Seller Marketing. So yes, there'll be heaps and heaps of marketing that will be expanded across consumer and trade, yeah, there'll be no shortage, absolutely no shortage. In the new year especially.
And Dr. Andrews himself will be appearing on television and in various journals when he visits Australia in February. Plus, we're putting on a special meet and greet with Dr. Andrews for any in-skin partners. That date will be announced closer to the time, but it will be mid-February. And for those who call in-skin today and order their first a lot of products. Dr. Andrews will sign an autographed copy of his book, Curing Aging. Is that right, Dr. Andrews?
Yes, I would be very happy to.
Marie, what is the deal for InSkin Partners? Can you repeat that, please?
So those clients that order today, InSkin Partners or not InSkin Partners, for every 6 One Truth serums they purchase, they will get 1 free and the complimentary point of sale materials. That's today only.
Okay, so
because I don't know if we'll have stock tomorrow.
No. And bear in mind that the initial supply is a miserable 2,000 units for the whole of Australia, and I think your minimum order is 6 plus the free one valued at $299. Is that right?
Exactly. So 7 divided into 2,000.
I'll tell you exactly how many salons are going to get it.
Not a lot. 25.
A very small number. Okay, I think we've just about run out of time.
Greg, one question that keeps reappearing about CIT, collagen induction therapy. Can it be used straight after CIT? Yes, it can be. Absolutely no problem.
Okay, thank you. How do we get to attend one of your seminars here in Australia, Dr. Andrews? Don't worry, we will, or InSkin will be alerting everybody when that will happen. And that will be at an event at this stage in Sydney. But if there's enough demand, we may make Dr. Andrews do an ultra marathon down to Melbourne and another one back up to Brisbane. Are you okay with that, Dr. Andrews?
Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
Okay, terrific. Couple of quick ones. Contraindications. What does that mean, Rachel?
What does that mean, did you say, Greg? No, there are no contraindications. Not alongside any of your other products. It's fine with all of your other products, and no contraindications to medications, conditions, diseases, or anything like that. You're absolutely fine.
Okay, thank you. So, anyone else seen any other questions that we haven't yet covered? There's one there. When does One Truth go live? It will be available from the first shipment arrives in Australia, in Sydney, for InSkin in approximately a week to 10 days, I believe. That's right, isn't it, Rachel?
Yes, correct. Yeah,
okay.
It's the second it's in those bottles and packed into those boxes and security sealed, it's being whisked away to reach your shores, because I know how keen you are to get your hands on it.
Okay. Anything to add to that, Marie? A couple of other questions there.
Actually, a number of times it's come up on the screen. Is PAM 818 patented?
Yes, well, we filed patents on it, and the patents were allowed, but we've actually went to extremes to actually keep it from being issued because we don't want the structure of the chemical to be published. We're keeping it alive, but just to keep the filing date, just in case somebody else stumbles upon this same discovery. At least we would then have the filing date. But that's the only reason we definitely have allowed patents that have not issued and will not issue as long as we can keep it from being issued.
Okay. Quick question. Preservatives, Rachel?
Yes, it is. It's preserved with something called spectrostat, which is botanically based. But yeah, every product has to have preservatives. Otherwise, we couldn't have that 12-month shelf life on it. It doesn't have, it's not a huge amount of preservatives because obviously we've kept it in that airtight pump container as well, which does help stop any bacteria and microbes getting into it. But yes, of course, it's got preservatives, and if you wanted to look it up, it's called spectrostat is the name of the preservative that we use.
Okay, thank you. Quick one, how much wholesale? I think that will be up to Marie to decide on for Marie's partners. That would be right, Marie, but I assume that it's a very handsome margin.
Yeah, it is. The wholesale is $155 and the retail is $299. The question has been asked, is 6 the minimum order? You can order 1. If after today you just want to try one for yourself, call InSkin Cosmetics at 02-971-28188 and you can order just 1. But if you choose to jump in, think first and be a visionary, You can purchase today only 6 and get 1 free.
And plus today only, those who order from InSkin today will get to meet Dr. Andrews in person in Sydney in February and get a signed copy of his very, very widely bought book, Curing Aging. So pretty good offer. Marie?
I've just been told that our phones are running off the hook and they're going absolutely crazy. They've just been trying to make signs at me for the last 15 minutes. I've just tried to shush her out, but now I understand why. The phones are running hot and the parcels are selling really, really fast. So congratulations to the visionaries on this call today. Very proud.
Okay, well remember that there are only a couple of thousand units for the whole of Australia, so you wouldn't want to mess about with it. But look, I think we've...
Question there, sorry, Greg Sanders' question there, her phone's running nuts. Is it today only buy 6, get 1 free? Yes, today, well, the answer to that is that it'll only last for today and we won't get through to tomorrow. So yes, only today, for every 6 that you purchase, you get 1 free. And Alana's question, yes, Alana's just letting everyone know just to call your BDM if you're already an InSkin partner. That would maybe be the fastest way, considering that the phones are going crazy here. So if you are an InSkin partner and you have got contact with your BDM, please place your order through your BDM today. And if you're not an InSkin partner, feel free to give us a call on the 0297128188 number. And if you can't get through, team@InSkin cosmetics.com.
And what is the website to view before and after photos? That website is onetruth.com.au, and the one is a digit one, not the word one. So onetruth.com.au, where you can download the clinical trials, watch the videos, watch a recording of this webinar, in fact. I think we've got to go. We've held people up for so long. It's getting late in Reno, Nevada. So thank you very, very much to our guests, particularly Marie, Dr. Bill Andrews, Rachel. Dr. Andrews, so looking forward to seeing you here in February for a long flight out from Reno and then off to New Zealand for media appearances there too.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Great. Thank you very much, everyone. Sorry we couldn't answer any more questions, but call InSkin Cosmetics or your InSkin rep if you have any more questions. We'll attempt to answer as many as possible. But thank you very much to everybody for participating, and we look forward to dominating the skincare industry with this product. Thank you very much. Bye for now.